Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to Tie One On. Alright, so in this week's video, we're going to be tying up some little micro 1/8 ounce football head jigs. These things are awesome on a spinning rod, and what we're going to be tying them up with is an imitation polar bear hair. This is called the pseudo craft fur, and this stuff looks amazing underwater. It almost has that flowing motion, kind of like marabou. And you throw these on a spinning rod when the bite gets tough, especially in cold water, but they work all year round. These are killer for smallies. So what I'm doing right now, I figured I'd tie this one up this week. I'm filling out an order for a buddy of mine. So I actually sell all the jigs that I make. So if you ever see anything on the channel that you like, let me know, and I'll be happy to make it for you. But I'm making them a couple in all black. He wanted like a craw, early spring craw, so I got this orange rust color with a copper head. It's a nice combo. And then tonight we're going to be tying on the video is a lime green with the olive color. It's kind of like a bright olive. It's a really nice looking pattern. All right, so let's go down to the vise and tie one on. All right, guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off by tying our base on with 210 denier flat wax nylon thread. Same as we always use. I like to make a couple wraps and trap the thread. Make a nice little base and then cut the tag end off. Same way we basically start all of our jigs. Make a couple more wraps. Okay, good. Pull down, cinch that nice and tight. All right, guys, so now after you get your base tied on, we got to cut some of the hair off of this. So what I like to do, it's just like cutting, a person's hair. You just pull this up, get the piece you want to cut off, pull it up with your fingers, get as close to the hide as you can, and make a nice clean cut. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to pull off any loose ends, get all the loose ends out, so that's nice and straight. And that piece right there. Now we're going to take this, we're going to measure it up. We want it sticking out just a little bit past the end of the hook. Good, measure it up. We're going to cut our end off. And now we're going to tie this in. Just little bits and pieces. Make a couple wraps. Spread it out a little bit. Good. Trap that in. And then I have some other pieces that were pre-cut. I just wanted to show you how to cut it off the hide. So I'm going to use these pieces that I already have pre-cut to work with. And this stuff gets everywhere, so make sure you have a vacuum afterwards. All right, next piece, pull out any loose ends. I'm gonna measure it up, right about there. Okay, gonna cut our end off. Put it down, make a couple wraps to trap it, and then we're gonna spread it around. And that's what you do. It takes time. You just take your time, little clumps at a time. Make a couple wraps to trap it in. Next piece. Pull out all your loose ends. There we go. Just like that. Measure it up. Right about there. Make a cut. You just do the same thing over and over again, and you just keep building it up around the jig head. Put it on, spread it out, fill in any loose areas. One good thing about this stuff is it kind of works around pretty easily. As long as you don't get too much of a clump. If you get too big of a clump, it's difficult to work with. So just take your time and make little clumps at a time. All right, here we go. We got another piece. See all these loose ends here? You want to pull these out so that you get nice even ends. Make it nice and even so when you tie it in, it ties down nice and tight. And you don't have any pieces coming out later on. I like to pull it off of this end too. And see how that's pretty nice and straight? That's what you want. A couple loose ones here. That's what you want. And then you take this, you measure it up. cut your end off. Look for a loose spot where you want to put it in. Make a couple wraps. And then spread it around. There we go. It's starting to fill out pretty nicely. Tie that in. Then you can pull all this back nice and straight. And then pull any of the loose ends out. All right. I'm going to cut some more pieces. Again, just like cutting people hair. Pull this out. Cut a nice piece off. Pull out our loose ends. There we go. Cut the ends off. And let's tie this in. 1, 2 wraps, spread it out. And then don't be afraid too to pull the jig out of the vise. Straighten everything out nice and even. And let's look for any bare spots. So I could use another nice piece up here to the right side of the hook. Other than that, it looks pretty full. So we're gonna add that one more piece in where it looks bare. That's what's nice about taking it out of the vise, as you can see where it's bare once you pull it back. And we're gonna cut one more piece to fill that in. All right, here we go. But our loose ends, this stuff gets everywhere, guys. Look, it's all over the place. So make sure you get a vacuum to clean this up afterwards. All right, here we go. This will be our last piece. Measure it up. And fill in right here where it was a little bare. 2 wraps, and we're going to spread this out. And that should finish it up. So you get around the hook. All right. Now we're going to finish our base. Now that we got it all tied in, we're going to trap these loose fibers. And then we're just going to go around the base and make a nice tight base. Nice tight collar, I mean. Pull these nice and tight, build it up. Good. Looks like a nice solid collar. We're gonna have a couple little loose fibers sticking out, but that's all right. There we go. We're gonna whip finish it. Let's do 5 and 5. Good. Cut it. And we take our Sally Hansen's. Now when I do this, I like to wet my fingers and pull the fibers back because they like to get drawn towards the Sally Hansen's for some reason. So I like to pull it back and then put my Sally Hansen's on the collar. And again, this seals it up solid. It'll never come out. There we go. Perfect. Let that dry up. And it'll be good and solid, ready to fish. Pull any of these loose fibers back. Straighten this out. I'll show you what we got. All right, there we go, guys. That's it. 1/8 ounce craft fur finesse jig. Again, these things are awesome. You could put a little trailer on these guys, or you could fish them just like this. If you fish them just like this, again, that craft fur likes to flow. It's got a nice bait fish type action to it. It looks like a little minnow. Or you could put a little crawl trailer on here and crawl these along the bottom. Either way, it's a nice finesse presentation to throw on a spinning rod, and they just flat out get bit. All right, guys, I'm going to finish tying up this order. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.